So nice to see everyone here. We'll get started in just a minute. We'll give everyone a second to log in, make sure they're good to go. Connecticut, that's where I'm from. Go Huskies. We've had a great 2 days as Husky fans. Good morning. Good morning. Second session. I love that. Love to see the returners, but also happy to have fresh faces, especially since the morning one was early. And I do have to give a special shout out. I think I see one of my former students in the class, which is super exciting as an online instructor. Koya, if you can hear me, hi. It's great to see you here. And welcome everyone else. We're so happy to have you here. All right, I want to respect hi, Koya. I want to respect everyone's time, including Dr. Garcia's as a presenter. So I think we can get started. I'm sure more people will join us as time goes on. But for now, to make sure that Dr. Garcia has the most time, let's get started. So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Becca Lazinsk. I'm with the 2026 SNHU Leads Conference Committee. I'm also with the Office of Alumni Engagement, and I'm excited to be here with all of you as we explore the Leads Conference topic of your future superpower, the Adaptability Quotient. Fatima Jelani from the Office of Student Involvement and also the Leads Committee is also joining me in facilitating this session today. Before we have the pleasure of introducing you to our speaker for this session, we would like to review a few housekeeping items for the session. If you could go to the next slide, please. Perfect, thank you. Teams has some great accessibility functions, which we'd like to take a moment to highlight here and make you aware of. Live captioning. Please find the More button on your Microsoft Teams navigation bar, select Language and Speech, and select, quote, Show Live Captions. Magnifying share slides. To do this, navigate to the bottom left of the window where you see the slide deck being shared and select the plus or minus icons. Now, if you could go to the next slide, please. We'll talk about what to expect. Perfect. So some notes for today. Your microphone and camera are not enabled at this time. Your microphone will remain muted to reduce background noise for all participants. The chat will be available during the presentation, which you are welcome to engage with, and we encourage you to participate in. However, we encourage you to hold on to any questions you have for the presenter for the Q&A at the end, as the presenter might not be able to monitor the chat as they're presenting, and we want to make sure they don't miss any of your great questions. This session might also utilize polling and other engagement, so we encourage you to participate in those when prompted. We ask that you be kind. We are all here to learn, engage, and be with community. Do not photograph, screenshot, or take personal recordings of anyone in attendance. We also ask that you refrain from sharing any offensive content or using inappropriate language. Thank you for your cooperation in making the session an inclusive space for everyone. This webinar is being recorded. There is no obligation to use the chat, your camera, or your microphone for participation in the session. And since I know this normally gets asked, the recordings will be shared out after Leads is over. All right, next slide, please. And with that, I will turn it over to Fatima to introduce us to the presenter for this Lead session.
Welcome to Dr. Hector Garcia. He is an honorably retired public safety professional and higher education leader with over 30 years of public and private sector experience. He has spent more than 2 decades designing and facilitating professional development programs that help leaders strengthen resilience, adaptability, and strategic decision-making in complex environments. Now, Dr. Garcia has presented leadership and adaptability sessions for the AAFEA, the FBI National Academy, the U.S. Department of State in Africa, Central and South America, and the Caribbean, and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, just to name a few. He has been a featured speaker at national and international conferences, including Blacks in Government, Federally Employed Women, and the International Association of Chiefs of Police. His expertise centers on helping people cultivate adaptability, self-awareness, and to focus amid volatility and change. Now, drawing from real-world experience and contemporary research, Dr. Garcia helps equip current and emerging professionals with mindset and tools needed to thrive through uncertainty and lead with purpose. I'll turn the conversation over to the presentation that Dr. Garcia has brought for us.
I want you to close your eyes for a minute and picture the future. Picture that today is March 24th, 2031. You wake up not to an alarm, but to an adaptive system that has already analyzed your sleep cycle, your schedule, and the demands of your day. Your environment adjusts instantly. Temperature, information, all optimized before your feet even touch the floor. Your personal AI briefs you, not just on your calendar, but on emerging risks, shifting priorities, and decisions waiting for you. Outside, the world moves differently. Autonomous vehicles glide in coordinated precision throughout our roads. Traffic is not as chaotic as it used to be, it's more orchestrated. Drones are flying overhead. They deliver supplies. They monitor the infrastructure. They support our communities in real time. In workplaces across every industry that we see, AI is no longer a tool, it is a collaborator. It anticipates, it analyzes, it recommends. Decisions can be made faster. Expectations naturally are higher. The margin for hesitation is narrowing. Robotic systems, once experimental, are now embedded in our daily operations. From healthcare to logistics, from education to public safety, they are executing tasks with speed, precision, consistency that redefines what performance really looks like. And in this environment, change is not occasional. It is constant. It is accelerating. It is unforgiving. The world didn't slow down, it accelerated. And now, the question as you open your eyes and look at the screen is no longer whether change is coming. The question is, how do you respond to it? Because in this version of the future, the individuals who thrive are not the most intelligent, not the most experienced, but the most adaptable. The ones who can think differently when conditions shifted. The ones who remain steady when pressure intensified. The ones who act decisively even when the path was unclear. So, as you sit here today, this isn't just a session about the future. It's an important day. It's a decision point because the version of you that is to exist in 2031 will be shaped by what you start doing today. And with that, I offer each of you a very good morning. I thank you for being here and investing in yourself, in your future self, and the role that adaptability plays in your future and your success. So let's look at today's flow, what we're going to cover. So we're going to talk a little bit about awareness of what this adaptability quotient is and how it affects each of us. We're going to do a very rapid and quick, because we only have a short time, AQ assessment, and I'll be using the acronym AQ, Adaptability Quotient. From there, we're going to look at the three dimensions that make up adaptability in people. Everything that we present today is based on peer-reviewed research, scholarly sources, and opinions from experts and theories from experts who study the future and adaptability. So everything is grounded in research and facts. And finally, we're going to talk about how we apply AQ. And then at the end, there will be a challenge issued to each of you. It's called the 48-730 Adaptability Challenge. So we'll run through that real quick. But as always, I see many people here because I do monitor the chat box. Hello, Beth. Good to see you. And my good friend Crystal's here. She, even though she graduated several years ago, I don't know how she finds me, but she's always in attendance at all my workshops. So thanks. Great to see you, Crystal, as always. All of my workshops always have a little bit of an interactive component. So I want you to use your phone. We're talking about the future. 2031 sounds like it's 100 years away. What year are we in now? 2026? That's only 5 years away. So let's get our phones out. If you'd like to participate in the virtual component, get your phone out, scan that QR code. If you're working with a laptop, an iPad, a tablet, anything like that, you can go to a web browser, type in slido.com, put in that meeting number, and you will join us for today's activity. So I always like to scan it myself just to make sure it's working because we've all gotten new computers and we all have new software and things are happening. Okay, looks like it's working. So just to test it, let's go ahead and answer a question. Now, let me explain the screen to you because some of you may be new at this. So on the top left, under the where it says camera, you just QR'd it. It's going to say H. Garcia leads. There's a little character on the top right. If you click that little character and click on the bottom, my profile, you can put in your name there. And so otherwise, everyone will be anonymous. So you can put in your nickname, your name, whatever you want. Click the little box, you agree, and save it. And now we have your name or nickname. And this is important for later. So um, now we have our first poll. How are you feeling today? So go ahead and fill it out and push send. And then you know you are in the game. You're in it. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to do that. And as this one fades out, when we don't have any polls going on, it'll say there are no active polls. And then when we get to one, you'll get it. So as we go through the presentation, I will possibly be asking you some questions about some of the things we just talked about or some of the things that we might talk about. So if you're paying attention, answer the question. It is a friendly competition. We're not in competition with anybody but ourselves. We want to make sure that we're focused, we're paying attention to the points that are being made, and we're testing ourselves to see if we have good recall or good anticipation of what the answer could be. And so, a word of caution, each question in the friendly self-challenge has a time limit. So it could be 15 seconds, it could be maybe even up to 60 seconds. Keep your eye on the clock and pick the correct answer in the quickest amount of time on your phone, your tablet, or your PC, or your iPad. All right, so let me see what do we have here. We got somebody who's exhausted. Chantel, they're exhausted at either 7, 8, 9, or 10 a.m. Wow, they must be working a midnight shift. All right, somebody's a little stressed. Well, we're going to help you deal with that stress today. I like this. Ready to conquer the day. That's good. That's one of my people. All right. Somebody repeated the number of the meeting. So you know what that means? That means they're mindful. They're in the meeting. So to number 204635, welcome. All right. Now, let's practice with a little self-challenge quiz, right? So let's do the first question of the day. All right. So is everyone ready? All the players ready? Okay. Looks like they're ready. Look at all these players we have. Deanna, John, Harry, Dr. K. Whoa. All right. Here we go. And you got 20 seconds. You see the clock? Here's the question I'm asking you. Today is Wednesday. So pick your best answer. Is that true? Don't look at your watch or the calendar. Is it true, false, or What are you talking about? What does it have to do with anything? So it's a practice. So you get used to navigating. All right. Well, look at that. Um, some of us, 3% of us, are living in the future right now because they believe that today is Wednesday. So that's good. My opening monologue was good. 2031, you're already halfway there. So very good. All right. So obviously today is Tuesday. All right. Let's see who. Oh my God. Kimberly, 6 seconds. Andy, Jamie, Liv, and Peter. Man, we got some. I think we got some gamers here today. So what is going on? All right. So that's how the little quiz works. It'll pop up when you least expect it. So just be ready. All right. But let's talk about what we said in the beginning. Change is accelerating. Remember the famous quote? The only constant we have is change. So we cannot slow the pace of innovation. Think about a year ago where technology was and how fast it's changed into this year. So we cannot control how fast change happens. And when change happens, volatility could happen. People aren't sure. I just told you a couple of minutes ago that we got upgraded, new computers and all that. And we've been having problems. Well, we're not used to it. We're getting used to it. So we're all part of that. So what could we do? Can we control those things? No, we cannot control. We can't call Microsoft or Apple and tell them not to release the next version of iOS or the next version of Windows or Copilot or whatever we tell them, listen, this is going too fast. You guys, please slow down for us. We haven't absorbed that yet. No. So what do we have to do? We have to strengthen the way we respond to it. So as we look at some data here, we see that 44% of all the skills that we currently have are being disrupted. We need changes. We need to change some of those skills. That's almost half of them. But everyone here is in a good position because you're continuous learning, you're applying you're learning new strategies, you're listening, you're practicing. So that's good. So look at AI alone. 60 to 70% of the tasks that we do are impacted today versus a couple of years ago based on AI. And so we turn to performance science to tell us how do we deal with this volatile changes, with the disruptive changes, the state and the speed of technology. Well, we can be adaptable, we can be resilient, and we can engage with that. So today we're going to be focusing on that adaptability. Because if the environment is accelerating, if technology is redefining the roles that we have to use, and if adaptability can help us predict our performance at work, school, on job sites, then we have to be resilient. And guess what is not optional anymore? Adaptability is no longer optional. It must be operational. Otherwise, what's going to happen? We're going to be left behind. So here's a little video. So there you saw some information. And now it's time for a little question. The real one. Now, all right. So is everyone ready? Anybody who just arrived, you can scan that QR code or go to slido.com and put in meeting 204635 and you'll be in the game. We got 86 players. Let's see. Here is our first question of the day. Performance science includes adaptability, resilience, and what was the third component? Remember the slide? And I had 3 boxes under it. One of them was adaptability. Resilience was in the center. And there was a third one on the right side. What was that component that I mentioned is very important that we be involved in? Oh, I just gave you a clue. All right, let's see. Somebody said training. Okay, a few people said dexterity, mindfulness. So the correct answer was engagement. Remember, we have to be engaged. We can't be passive bystanders because it'll pass us by. We have to be engaged in it. All right, so look at this. We got all new Peter Fitzgerald is the only name that I remembered because it's 2 names. So Sadie Emmett. Okay, that's all right. We got plenty more questions, guys. All right, so you know what? Let's do this. Let's define AQ so we have a good definition of what it is and what it it means to us. So what is adaptability quotient? Let's think of the words. How adaptable we are. And quotient is a score, right? Some of us may be very adaptable. Our score may be higher. Some of us maybe are approaching. Some of us may be low. We just don't like change, but we realize we can't fight it. We can't swim upstream against the rushing water. So we want to start embracing it. So our definition then, it is measurable. It's a capacity to adjust our thinking, regulate our emotions, and our behavior in response to change and uncertainty. So it's a score of how we relate to change and uncertainty in components of thinking, emotions, and behavior. And you should be able to figure out that those are three components we're going to talk about later. All right. So what's the difference? What are all these Qs, all these quotients? Well, IQ measures how well you think. Somebody say, I have an IQ of 125. Wow, he's a good thinker. And my EQ is your emotional quotient. And those of you who have attended previous years or other segments, you know we've had EI, emotional intelligence challenges, and we've had presentations. So you got a good grasp on that. This is kind of bridging everything together. And then AQ is how well we adjust to this volatility, these changes. Okay? So AQ includes cognitive thinking, emotional, and behavioral adaptations in response to change and uncertainty. Okay? It's not just one thing. It's a combination of three. We'll cover those three soon. Okay, time for a little question for you. Here we go. And this is from earlier on in the beginning. What percentage of core skills are changing in society? That was the third slide. It was the top left. I said blank percentage of core skills are changing in our society as of last year. So in less than a year, what percentage? Was it 24? Was it 37, 44, 50? Or did I say that's undetermined because the rate of change is so fast, we couldn't even grab that number? So thank you, 14% who fell for that undetermined due to rapid change. I didn't warn you that I love my trick questions. Thank God you're not in one of my classes. So, all right, it was 44%. 44. I made it tricky. So 44%, and I said it's almost half. All right, now everyone should get this one right because I just talked about it less than a minute ago. All right. Adaptability quotient refers to an individual's ability to change external behaviors in response to predictable change environments, includes regulating one's emotions in light of those changes. So, is that true? Is it false? Or is it not enough information? And I'm just telling you, be careful with this one. It's a fair warning. You're all my friends. I'm going to give you a fair warning on this one. Be careful. For all doesn't look. Oh, okay. I didn't get everybody on it. Okay, that one was false. I changed a couple of words around. It's not. Look at the second line. An individual's ability to change external behaviors, right? We're talking about internal behaviors. Internal. Our own quotient, our own adaptability, our own resilience. So that's why I said it was going to be tricky. Let's see. Corey, Peter, you're still hanging in there. Good. Katie, Tracy, Sarah. So far, all of you have a perfect score. Now, each of you are able to also see your own personal scores that you are challenging yourself with on your system. It tells you what place you are in. All right, so now let's do a quick AQ assessment, real quick. All right, it's a mini assessment, so you should have something to write on, or you can use your phone to your little calculator thing. It's short. It's only a few questions, and the range of answers. 1, it doesn't represent you at all. 3, sometimes it represents you. 5, yes, because you consistently do that. So I'm going to give you a statement, and we'll go through them quick. I'll read them fast. You just write down what number it is. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? And so here's the rubric on top. Okay, 1, rarely true. 3, sometimes. 5, consistently. And 2 is in between that one. and 3 and 4. It's between that one. Okay, so number 1, when new information challenges my beliefs, I reconsider rather than defend. What do you think? Give yourself a score. Don't think about it too long. We don't have a lot of time. Number 2, I can generate multiple solutions when plans change unexpectedly. I can generate multiple solutions when plans change unexpectedly. That's number 2. Is that you all the time? Give yourself a 5. Sometimes give yourself a 3. Okay. So you should have 2 answers now. You should have somewhere between 1 to 5 in question 1, 1 to 5 in question 2. Question 3, I stay curious when situations become complex or unclear. Is that you? Do you stay curious, or do you say, "Whoa, wait a minute, I'm not sure what's going on here. Let me sit back," or let me say, "You, why are we changing this? We've never done this before." So then you give yourself a 1. Okay. 4, do you remain composed when outcomes are uncertain? We're not sure where we're going with this thing. And does that make you nervous, or do you remain composed? You know what? Or right? Are you in the middle? Okay. Number 5, you recover quickly after a setback or a disappointment. Something didn't go your way. That paper you thought was 100, you got it back and it was a 72. You didn't look at the rubric and you missed 2 elements, 16 points each. Man, how did I miss that? I thought I. So what? How does that hit you? Bad, right? Or do you say, you know what? I have to do a new system now. I have to write my paper. I got to organize it right. And I got to look at the rubric and double check it. So what is that about you? So give yourself a score for that one. Now, last ones. Number 6, can you manage stress without it controlling your decisions? In other words, when you're stressed out, you just make a random decision. Or can you control it? Hold on a second. We're going to take a step back. Let me breathe for a minute. Okay, I'm going to come back in 10 minutes and deal with this. Which one of these are you? 1 to 5. Okay, number 7. Do you adjust your approach when something is not working? Or you just keep going, expecting it to work? Do you open up something on your computer and you look for something and you don't get it, and then you go, you know what? Let me put my password in again. And it's still wrong. It's the wrong password. You say, what? Well, that's the same password I've always had. Let me put it in again. And it's still wrong. 3 times in a row. Is that you? So, or do you say, oh, hold on a second, I forgot my password. Let me click, forgot the password. So 1 to 5. All right. Number 6. I'm sorry. Number 7. 8. I take constructive action even when outcomes are uncertain. That means when you don't know what's going on, you're in there. You're giving suggestions. You know what? We could do this. We could do that, instead of being Chicken Little, doom and gloom. Sky's falling. All right. And number 9. God, I'm bad with the numbers today. Number 9. I seek feedback and use it to improve in changing environments. Be honest with this one. We don't like feedback because we're never wrong, right? Or are you the person who says, listen, tell me, I'm not going to take this personally. If you don't tell me, how am I going to improve? How are we going to improve as a team, as people, as a family? We got to know. All right. All right. Now, what you're going to do is take all your 9 answers, add them up. If you give yourself a 1, a 3, or 5, and you'll have a score. So let me know when everybody has their scores. So it's 9. Obviously, the maximum is 45. The minimum is 9 because our scale is from 1 to 5. Right in the middle is 27. So get your score, and we're going to go a little faster because we're running low on time. So here's how initially, and Michaela has a question. You can type it in the chat box. I'll see it. Initially, you have a score, and this is a general range. From 36 to 45, you're highly adaptable. From 27, moderate, to 35, you're developing it. From 18 to 26, and 9 to 17, you're looking at a growth opportunity in adaptability. And so Emily, you have a question? You have your hand up? You can put it in the chat box. All right. I'm going to, Aislinn being on me, I'm going to ask right now what you just put on there. So, and this won't record your names. You could put it in our Slido so we have an idea of what the composition of this group is. And I'm gonna tell Chantel that if we have somebody that has a 45, I'm gonna turn over the presentation to them because they are the masters of adaptability. What do you think? Good idea? All right. So look, we got people all over the place, and I see the ones on the side here. I see Mary. Mary, pretty good, 43. Livia, okay. There's my friend Crystal. Deanna, another friend of mine, is here. Good to see you. Caitlin. So we got a lot of friends here. Dr. K. All right. So it looks like most of us we're like right around, if we take 1 and 2, we're right in the middle, maybe a little more towards that side. Some of us are still developing it, so today's a good start. So remember, I told you that we're going to have the 3 dimensions of adaptability: cognitive, the mind; emotions, the heart; and behavioral, the way we act, right? Those are the 3. And it was in our definition, so kind of a preview. All right, so obviously this is all research. So let's start with cognitive, the brain, right? Cognitive, the capacity to look at assumptions, consider alternatives, the thinking, critical thinking, right? Updating, problem solving. Oh, we have this is new, came out. Okay, let's break it down. How was the old way? What's the new way? What do we need to do to bridge it, right? So that's how we see it. And here are some examples for you. How do you develop that? When AI changes expectations in your coursework or workflow, you update your strategy instead of resisting it. Updating, analyzing, critical thinking, right? When an organization shifts their roles, we got a new division, we got new people. Joe, you're going over there. Susie, you're doing this now. Oh my God. But we've never done it like that before. No, the thinker, the adaptable person says, remember in the beginning, we can't stop this from happening. And it's happening fast. We have to adapt to it. That's the whole thing here. We have to adapt to it. So we're thinking. Look at the cognitive skills in the little infographic. You have paying attention, you have memory, you have logic and reasoning, you have visual, you have auditory. It's all these are your 5 senses, right? And how they apply in critical thinking. The key here is do not resist the change. Adapt to it, bridge it, analyze it. Okay, that's the snapshot for this one. Now, the second part, and those who went to the EI classes or took the EI challenge, which I encourage you to take when it pops up, is very good course to take. You know that emotional regulation is the second component of emotional intelligence. The first one is recognizing what your emotions, how they affect you and others around you, right? The second one is regulating your emotions. That falls right into our adaptability quotient, right? You have to be able to this is a lot harder to do than, because I screwed this up the other day. A lot harder to do than for us to say, oh yeah, I regulate myself well. No, you have to consciously think about it. And after all these years I've been doing this, I still slip up every once in a while. But I've gotten to the point where I go, oh, hold on. I'm gonna do something bad here. Let me get up, leave. My thing is leave. Yes, okay, bye. Leave. Think about it, come back. So, for example, when academic demands increase, you manage your stress without shutting down or quitting. I had somebody in my class says, I don't know how many times I was going to quit this class. And I'm thinking to myself, this is the capstone class. If you quit this class, obviously I contacted her 3 times. If you quit this class, you're not going to graduate. That's serious. And this is your last class. So let's settle down. Let's go through the rubric again. Let's look. This. Oh, my kids and the job and this. No problem. I'll help you. What do you need? What time? On Sunday, 10 a.m.? Okay, let's meet Sunday, 10 a.m. Let's go through it. Okay, can you do it? Here's a sample for you. And we get them through it. So, and that's be able to control those emotions of wanting to fight or resist. We can't resist it. We can't stop it. We can't change the capstone questions. The assignment's the same. Thousands of students have completed it the same manner. So let's not fight it. Let's critically think about what are the impediments, what are the blockers, how do we work around them? Well, the kids and this and that. Well, do you have a time when you can? Yes. Here's a template. Here. Okay. So I kind of helped a little bit with the critical thinking and to get those emotions under control, so you don't go into that spiral of I just have to give up, because those blockers are out there every single day. Rejection, confusion, conflicts, all of that's going to happen. All of it. All right. Last one is our behavior, right? And that's the operational side. The other ones are mental, critical thinking, problem solving, emotions. This one is what we call operational, right? So, how we operate, how everything manifests itself, right? What actions are we taking? How are we implementing strategies to deal with the changes around us? So, here's some examples. When priorities shift, you reallocate your efforts rather than resisting it. Sometimes, do you spend more time fighting something that you can't control? Making excuses, fighting it, putting it off, getting other people to agree with you. Hey, don't you agree that this is a misjustice? Oh yes, oh, and now there's 3 or 4 of you. It's not going to change. We're all now we have a group of people commiserating together because misery loves company, right? So why don't we turn that group to an adaptability group and say, yes, okay, let a little outlet. Yeah, it's terrible. They changed it, all that. Okay, we can't. There's nothing that's out of our control, right? Okay, what can we do? All right, Joe, tell me what do you think is what's your blocker X? What's your? Why don't we turn it into that? The behaviors, the strategies, right? And never abandon the goal. Work around it. Work around it. So that's what the adaptability quotient teaches us in those 3 areas. All right, now let's test ourselves with a few questions about the 3 elements. They seem pretty easy, right? Let me see. Anybody have any questions? I'm going to look. Groupthink. Yeah, we love Shelly. We love groupthink, especially negative groupthink. Isn't that the best one ever? Isn't this terrible? Yes, yes. And maybe I didn't think it was terrible. Now that you said it, I go, you know what? It is terrible because 80% of our thoughts on a daily basis are negative. You'll learn that in the emotional intelligence class. 80% are negative. So it's a natural draw. We got to fight that. We got to fight that. All right. All right, Jordan Felix. I like that. Felix Jordan Felix. Okay, failure's not an option. That's the type of mentality I like. All right, now let's look at this question then. Since failure is not an option and resistance is futile, right? That's a little Star Trek reference. All right, here we go. When organizational priorities shift or roles are redefined, you reassess rather than cling to how it used to be. What is that an example of? When shifting roles are appearing and you do not say, well, this is the way we've always done it. Why are we changing? What is that? What is that? Is that cognitive? Is it behavioral? Is it emotional? Or is it the status quo? Nobody better pick that. Somebody pick the status quo. I just made that up the other day. All right, let's see. Well, let's talk. Well, we don't have time to talk to her. All right, let's keep going. So the answer is cognitive. It's the way that we think. I even said critical thinking a couple of times. The way that we think. Wait a minute. If this changed, how can we still do it the way we used to do it? We can't. It's changed. If we used to drive down road 1 to go to work every day and park in the same spot and sit in the same chair when we get to the office, right? Anyway, and they closed Route 1 and they made Route 2. So we got to try to figure out a way to go back on Route 1 somehow. Maybe take a side. No, go down Route 2, and maybe we have to leave earlier or later. So those are examples. All right, here we go. Now this is a situational one. It's gonna take a little longer. After you'll receive critical feedback on your project or assignment. You acknowledge the input, extract the key lessons, and you approach your day the same positive way you always do. You don't dwell on criticism. You refocus your energy and you improve your work. What is that an example of? What is that an example of? And here you go. I gave you extra time. Critical feedback, extract the answers, the lessons, adjust your approach, refocus your energy on improving the work that you just received critical feedback on. You didn't take it to heart. You didn't say, this is a personal attack on me. No, it's the work you submitted. What is this an example of? What do you think it is? Is it cognitive, emotional, behavioral, or is it resistance? All right, that one is emotional, right? You did not overreact. You didn't say it was personal. I'm giving you the clues in the explanation. You didn't say, well, this, you know what, that this professor, this is what we hear all the time. No one has ever told me that my APA was bad. No one. You wrote it in single space, and there's no references. You got 7 references listed. There's no citations. How can no one have ever told you this? I've written this way for 3 years. I said, well, how? How? How could that be? So you're taking that personal. I've had students write me a letter. You don't like me because I'm X. I go, I didn't even know you were a woman. I said to myself, I didn't even know who you were. What are you talking about? That is shows a classic example of lack of emotional intelligence. It's the work. I don't care who writes it. It's the work. So that's a good one. Now, here's the last one. Partway through working through an assignment or a project, right? The expectations have changed, or the priorities if it's a project. You adjust how you spend your time and energy to focus on what matters now rather than going back to the original plan. So we had an original plan that said we were going to do A, B, C, D. Then we got to B, and oh my God, things changed. We're going to have to skip C, go right to E, and add an F step to it. But you've made adjustments. So what is that an example of? Nobody liked generalization quotient. I made that one up. I thought at least I'd have one person like my bogus answers. All right, that is behavioral, the way that we act. Good, good. All right, let's see where we got all new players here. Corey, Sadie, Andy, Brandy. Okay, all right. Brandy, Andy, Sadie. God, that sounds like a band, right? Is that like the return of BTS? All right, and Corey. So you guys have a perfect score right now. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to put some pressure on you. We haven't had a perfect score in the last 7 webinars, all the way to the end. So let that sink in for a minute. All right, now let's apply. That was theory, right? Everything we just talked about was theory. Let's talk about practice now. Let's apply that real quick. All right? So remember what cognitive flexibility was. Thinking, critical thinking, problem solving, right? So how do we strengthen that? I know some people were on the lower end, some were high, but if you were on the lower end, you have a growth opportunity. You can apply some of this. If you were on the higher end, you can enhance it and make it even better. So this applies to everybody. All right? So we're going to do what's called the 3R reframe. All right? So the first thing is, this is for critical thinking, right? Cognitive. We're going to recognize, we're going to reframe, and we're going to redesign. So let's break each one down in this handy little graphic here. So recognize our critical, which are the thoughts that are hindering us? What's putting us down? What's blocking us, right? For example, this is how we would say we have rigid thoughts. That change is unfair. This shouldn't be happening. We've always done it this way. Why are they doing this to us? Right? Guess what that is? Rigid. First step, recognize that. What did you just say? Negative, right? Resistant. If you don't recognize that, none of this will work. Same thing with the second one when we get to the emotions. The first one is recognizing what the emotions are and how they affect you and others. It's the same thing here. Recognize the thought. Wait a minute, that's rigid, that's negative. You have to do it. And if that doesn't click, the rest of the steps won't work. Because after you recognize that you have this rigid thought, you have to reframe it. Okay? You have to change it. What else could this change be attributed to? Well, it's attributed to a change in philosophy of the university, a change in the accreditation. Oh, okay, so it's something we can do. What opportunities do we have here? Well, we have the opportunity to come together as a team, as a project, as students, as learners, come together and attack this and learn from each other, right? What would somebody who didn't have any stake in the game, what would they say? They would say, well, you know what? That change was long overdue. You guys are behind the times. Everybody else is doing X. You're still doing this old stuff. Oh, mm. So you recognize it, you reframe it, you change, you break the group think. And this is framing. This is a whole class by itself. Framing. How you think of something, how you approach it. You could approach it and say, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. Or you could say, hey, this is great. This is a change. This is an opportunity for us to learn something new and grow. And we'll be prepared when we get out into the field or when we go to do X. So see, it's just the way you think about it, frame it. And the last one is then you got to redesign it. We can't do it the same way again. Einstein said, doing the same thing the same way each time and expecting a change is the definition of insanity. Right? How? So this is perfect. The 3R. Recognize the rigid thought, reframe it, and redesign it. Instead of resisting the change, adapt to it, grow from it, learn from it. Okay, so that's how we can restructure and reframe a little bit of our cognitive thinking. Now, what about the emotional regulation? And remember, I told you, I kind of hinted a little bit. 90-second reset. 90 seconds. That's all it takes. This is scientifically proven. Pause, breathe, and choose. What do I mean? Okay, you have something, again, recognizing that you have a trigger point. There's an emotion that when somebody says this or does this, you don't even notice it, but you're grinding your teeth, your hands are, you feel like blood rushing up to your head. You're like, how many times I gotta tell this? And the other person, they may not even know. And the person getting the physical and mental hits are you, not them. So this says stop. Do not respond immediately. This is hard. I have a friend of mine who's very good at this because I would say, I can't believe you said this. And, I get all hyped up, right? And he doesn't say anything. He just sits there, doesn't respond. And so eventually I said, all right, so what do you think about this, man? So breathe a little bit because that will calm you down, right? And then choose how to react to it without emotions being involved. Now, this works 90% of the time. Let's see. Rita Mae Brown was actually the one who said Albert Einstein. Thank you, Beth, for breaking that urban legend for us in her 1983 novel. Thank you very much. All right. Now, let's go because we're running low on time. So let's go on to our next one, which is the final piece, behaviors, right? So we had three. We had cognitive, emotions. So we had 3 R's, right? We had 90 seconds. Just breathe. Recognize the emotion. Take it easy. 90 seconds is a long time. Try to do that after this is over. Look at your watch for 90 seconds and try to just think about nothing. It's like you were doing it for 3 hours because we're not trained. We get trained to slow down. The last one is our behavioral ability, right? So this one's easy. This one is 48 hours. And now you see where that 7, 48, 90 is going to be coming from soon. All right. So what is this 48 hour rule, right? When facing a change, this is scientifically proven. When facing a change, we must take at least one constructive action and constructive positive action within 48 hours to have ourselves become acclimated to the session. Not the session, to the change. So here's some examples. You can go to a feedback section. You can test a new workflow. You can do a stretch goal. You can discuss with your colleagues within 48 hours. You just don't take the change, the volatility, and then just sit there on it. You have to do something. Say, you know what, Chantel, let's get together tomorrow afternoon, have a quick meeting about this new policy that came out. I have some questions on it, and let's discuss it. I want to hear your take, and you know what? Bring Fatima and a couple of other folks with you, because I want to hear some perspectives. I have some ideas. Okay, that's a positive. You got to take some kind of an action. So what does that do? That prevents paralysis. That prevents you just from sitting there and going, I can't believe they did this, and what are we going to do about it? And blah, 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 blah. So the experiment then, you're going to experiment with it in the 48 hours. You're going to evaluate it. It's kind of the same pattern. And you're going to make adjustments. Sounds like 3 R's, right? Very similar. So to be adaptable, you are moving, but you're moving, and see the word there, iterative. Iterative means Chantel, Fatima, and I met. We talked about it, and we said, oh, okay, well, and then they went out and found out some other stuff. I found out some things. We said, let's reconvene. We found out some new stuff. It's X, Y. Oh, let's update our strategy. Let's update our plan that we were going to do. All right. And there's a good quote from medicine. And let's see. We have our resident fact checker here, Beth. See if she checks this one out for me. I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That's Thomas Edison. All right, here we go. We're running low on time. So here's some of the last questions. To strengthen your cognitive flexibility, you should apply what? So to strengthen your critical thinking, right? Cognitive flexibility. What should you apply? The restructuring plan, the 3R, the emotional intelligence quotient, or the 3-step cognitive plan? I made up 3 of them. So be careful. Let me see if anybody fell for my trickery, my fake. Yeah, 12% of the people fell for my 3-step cognitive plan. You know what? It sounds good. I may make one day, but that was bogus. So it was the 3R. Remember? Refrain, restructure, redesign. Okay, let's see. Whoa, we still got 4 people with a perfect score. Oh my God, this is going to be good. All right, here we go. Another one. A best practice in strengthening emotional regulation is to perform a reset of how many seconds? 30, 60, 90, or 100? How much time should you take if you're going to do a reset of your emotions before you lash out and say something you're going to regret? How many seconds should you take to do that? All right, let's see. Yeah, 90 seconds. Correct. It's a 90-second reset. You should be able to figure out what the next question is. We still got the 4-way, man. This is going to be a good one. When facing change, take one constructive action within 48 hours. Be careful with this one. Be fairly warned. Is that true, false, or constructive action must be taken immediately? Asking a good one. Be careful with this one. This could get you off the list quick. Let's see. Thank you. 12%. I made that one up too. Constructive action must be taken immediately. I'm intrigued with the leaderboard. We still have them there. Wow. Corey, you're killing it. Sadie, Andy, and Brandy. Okay. All right. So here we go. Accountability then starts with who? With you. Right? You must reflect on what we talked about. What current dimension is your strongest? Which dimension can you use a little more on? Is it emotional intelligence? Is it cognitive flexibility or critical thinking? Is it the behavior? Is it acting? So within it. So here's the challenge, the 48-7-3. Within 48 hours, take one adaptive action. Okay? So you could grow in one of the 3 areas that we talked about in the quotient. Take one. Within 7 days, and I'm going to give everybody, by the way, Chantel, I have it here, I'll send it to you, a copy of these notes and everything, so don't kill yourself writing it down. I guess I should have told you that in the beginning, right? But then you wouldn't have paid as close attention. So Within 7 days, reflect. What did you learn? What shifted? And within 30 days, go ahead and repeat it and strengthen up another area. This builds a habit. This helps you to continuously adapt and improve. So it's called the 48-7-30 cycle. Now, it's time for one of the most important questions of the day. Those of you who have been to my seminars before, you know that we have what is called the super bonus question of the day. The super bonus question of the day is worth 5 points, which means if you were down in like number 17 on the list, you could jump all the way to number 1 on our quiz and win the quiz. So, and hopefully you'll get a little something nice afterwards. All right. So, is everybody ready for the super bonus question? All right, here we go. So, Layla, I'm sorry. I jacked you up. Your hand was cramping up. My bad. Okay, here we go. Super bonus question of the day worth 5 points could elevate you to win this thing. Of course, it's an informal win, but it's a boost. It'll boost you up, right? Your adaptability be boosted. Here we go. Here's the question. The question reads as this. Super bonus. Who said adaptability is being able to adjust to any situation at any given time? Who said that? Was it John Quincy Adams, Nelson Mandela, the ancient Greek philosopher Socrates, John Woodfield, or none of them? It was somebody else. And this was shown in today's webinar, so don't think it just came out of the blue. You saw this. All right, here we go. This is the trickiest of them all. Oh, we're all over the place on this one, Chantel. We got John Quincy Adams here with his wig, powder wig. We got Mandela, South Africa. We got the ancient philosopher, John. By the way, 36% of you said John Woodfield. Who is John Woodfield? Because I've never heard of him. The correct answer is none of the above, because his name wasn't John Woodfield. It was John Wooden. So I added field to it. So let's see what happens. I knocked 2 out, but Corey and Brandy have been crowned today's champions with a tie. So very good. And you got a perfect record. So here we go. Let's go back to March 24th, 2031. The future version of you will be shaped by how you think, how you regulate, how you act. We began the webinar in March 2031. We talked about autonomous systems were smarter. We talked about how AI was embedded everywhere. We talked how expectations were higher. But the defining variable wasn't technology or society or rapid change. It was about you. It was about 3 things: your cognitive flexibility, your emotional regulation, and your behavioral agility. So adaptability is not a future skill. It is a daily discipline. The version of you in 2031 will be the direct result of how you intentionally develop your adaptability quotient now, today. That's why I said March 24, 2031 starts today. You can't control the speed of change, but you can control the strength of your response. And so with that, I thank you very much for your participation. I thank you for your attendance, and I will be sending Chantel a nice handout for each of you, a bonus resource handout, so that you can see what we talked about today and apply it. And I look forward to hearing from you. Any questions, you can always contact me. I'm going to put my email here for you, and I'm going to turn it back over to our wonderful hosts.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Garcia. That was wonderful. It's awesome to see so much engagement in the chat and people truly, clearly taking in what you're saying from beginning to end. So thank you so much. I know we are at time, so if people have to sign out, we totally understand. But if you can stay, we have time for maybe a couple of questions, 1 or 2 probably. As a reminder, the session is being recorded to be used for future viewing. So if you don't want to have your questions in the recording, keep that in mind, and you can reach out to Dr. Garcia on the other side. And then otherwise, put your questions in the chat. Dr. Garcia, I know you can see the chat, so you can pull them as you like, or we can read them off to you.
Let's see. There's so much chatting here. It's hard. I don't see any.
I think I have a couple. Let me go back. Well, one quickly was, can you say that quote again? Which I imagine is the last quote that you said.
Which one? The John Wooden quote?
That would be my guess, but if the person who asked it wants to
Okay,
be more
so it said the quote
specific.
was adaptability is being able to adjust to any situation at any given time. Let me put that one up for you again. There you go.
Thank
John
you.
Wooden, not John Woodfield. Did you vote for John Woodfield?
So we did have one question earlier that said, is adaptability something we actively do by adjusting to new environments and technology, or is it more passive, where we rely so much on technology that it begins to replace our own skills and thinking?
Right. No, so it's the latter, not the former. It's you have to consciously adapt to it. You have to first of all, it's the pattern is recognize. And if you saw it in all three levels, the pattern is recognize, oh, wait a minute, this is different, this is a change. You have to recognize it, you have to evaluate it, and then you have to take action. You can't just let it run over you because you will not adapt to it. It'll be so much rapid change that it'll overtake you. So recognize it, don't resist it, especially if we can't change it. And that's the key to that. Recognize, don't resist, make the plans, evaluate, adjust, reframe, and then do it all over again. So that's the way that one works.
Thank you. I think we'll end with this last question.
Okay.
Are there any books or websites you would recommend to anyone who would like to continue cultivating this great mindset?
I'm going to add those to the bottom of your handout that I will send to you guys. So you'll have today's handout, you'll have the quiz again in case you want to take it in the future. You'll have an
Awesome.
infographic on the techniques that we talked about today, and then at the bottom we'll have some linked resources for you for further reading and analysis.
Awesome. Someone also asked about the emotional intelligence course that you mentioned. So I assume that will be in your resources. And folks can reach out to Dr. Garcia if they have other questions as well. Thank you so much. It was so wonderful to learn from you and to learn with all of you who are in attendance today. As a reminder, our next session is at 12 o'clock. It's our keynote speaker, so we really hope you can join. I'm very excited for this one, just as excited as I was for this session. And thank you all so much for being a part of Leads 2026.